I am so happy to have a young woman I met here that I totally can relate to. Her name is Riley, and you're from Canada. What part of Canada?
I'm from Williams Lake, British Columbia.
Beautiful, and it's a long ways. And I have to say, you can't say my age, but I'll say your age. You're 17 years old.
I'm 18.
Oh, you're 18 years old. And you found the University of Metaphysics, and something in you just said, I want to explore that. What was it that kind of was a magnet that attracted you?
I think it was really just Dr. Master's teachings, watching his interviews and everything, just his kind of energy really inspired me.
Well, it is very inspirational. And I was telling you my story yesterday. I found Dr. Masters through my mother. My mother her husband passed away. I was 12 years old, and he came to her in spirit and said there is a forever. And so she wanted to find out about life after death and found Dr. Masters' teachings. And I just was young, 14, and I just fell in love with it. And I began meditating and reading all the books I could read. I was just voracious. And it's interesting when you're young, you have a little different look at it. And a lot of people your age didn't understand, at least back then. Are you finding that you're kind of trying to place to fit in with people your age at this point?
I would say most of the people I know are pretty open-minded, generally, on the whole. So most of the people I know my own age are actually, they're kind of interested in this kind of work.
So when you're starting this path, are you thinking, I think I must have something that's my purpose? And have you been exploring what that might be?
Yes, I have been, for sure. It's always a goal in life to try to find one's purpose or dharma. And I feel like personally, I just really want to be an inspirational voice for people.
Well, I think that's great, and I'm glad you brought the word dharma in. I always love that word. Dharma's learnings, teachings. I think of it very close to the word drama, because we all have our life drama, and we have dharma that we learn from our life lessons with it. And when you began to meditate, what was it like when you first connected inside in the silence with yourself?
I feel like when I was first meditating and I was first kind of exploring, just connecting with like the higher self and whatever, I felt like it was kind of like this feeling of coming home. I just felt this calmness kind of embody me.
I totally relate to that. It's like the soul is like finding a place. You're being embraced by your soul and your spirit, and then you get to embody it, and it's so amazing. Every time I meditate, I learn something new. Every time I find this something else that comes through. And when I was 14, I couldn't have ever imagined that every time I meditate, it's a little different, and there's always more to learn, right? It goes on and on and on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I feel like as you meditate, and you'll just experience so many different things, and I mean, it changes with what's happening in your life, I think, too. And I feel like it would be beneficial if people could kind of have meditation as a space to just come back to. That's like a kind of a constant in their life.
Well, it's like tuning into the source and getting your batteries charged every day. But, I was talking to you last night about a lot of people who are committing suicide that are teenagers, people feeling bullied, depressed, not loved. And it's almost epidemic perceptions? No, epidemic proportions. When you said you also noticed this with a lot of kids who feel unrelated, unconnected, and unloved, right?
Yeah, certainly. I would say that like almost maybe between 80 and 90% of the people I know under the age of 30 are currently suicidal or have been suicidal in the past. And that like, it shocks me that so many of them, of the people I know, I don't know, maybe I just know a lot of really depressed people, but they are looking for connection, and they're looking for someone to listen to them and like to feel loved and appreciated. And also I feel like they need to love themselves, because suicide is, in my opinion, like an expression of self-hatred in many ways, for many different reasons.
That's very well put. Well, I'm hoping that you can start a group, a source, or blog, maybe a radio show we can air here, that will help. I think that there's many people crying out for help that aren't heard, and I think that it might be your purpose in life, but I'm so happy that you were able to find metaphysics and that you took the long journey from Canada to Sedona, right?
Yeah, it was a long journey because we drove down, so it was really long, but it was definitely worth it.
I'm so glad that we got to meet. So thank you so much, Riley, for being here, and your long journey is actually just beginning because it's your life journey ahead of you, and there's a lot of people you'll meet and help through metaphysics. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right.